It's Monday, November 2nd. Welcome aboard to this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Friel.
And I'm Len Gobeil.
We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, www.town.barnstable.ma.us.
Today is the day before Election Day here in the town of Barnstable, and there actually may be some people who don't know we're having an election in Barnstable. As a matter of fact, it's election all over the state. Kevin had a chance to catch up with Linda Hutchenreiter, our town clerk.
Tomorrow there's a big one though, Linda. What's been going on with that?
Well, that's our townwide election, and all year we've been anticipating this, and we have council races in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. We have school committee, housing authority, town clerk, and then there is a question on the charter commission.
So an extremely busy time for you. This ballot box sounds a little hollow, a little empty right now. I've noticed that the turnout in other elections hasn't been so good. What's the trend for townwide elections? Are we going to see more people out?
I would hope so. I'm praying that my predictions are wrong and that we have a lot more than 20 or 25%.
Now, we've talked about those other elections before, but could you just catch us up to speed on what those two elections were and where we've come from to this point?
Right. We had our preliminary election in September. We had the Stewart's Creek special election in October. Now, this is the town election. This one will elect the people. It's not a preliminary to eliminate anybody. This is the election. And also, as I said before, it's going to give the Charter Commission the opportunity to see how the people vote as to whether or not they want the new charter or they want to stay as is.
Could you tell us a little bit about that charter issue, what people are looking at? What are they trying to decide when they're in the voter box?
Well, they want to decide whether or not they want the new charter or they want to have the charter remain as it is. Everybody who had a voter in their house should have got delivered to them a number of weeks ago a copy of the new charter.
Now, there's a question about where people are voting. Some of the precincts did get moved around a little bit. Could you just highlight some of the specifics in that?
Yes. Unfortunately, because we have moved out of a lot of the schools and we're now in more churches and more private areas and other private schools, we are at their whim, and I fully thank all of them for being willing to have voting with us. But what has happened is many of them have had previous commitments. So, for instance, Precinct 4 is now voting with Precinct 2 only until the end of 2009. So the election on the 3rd and December 8th election, they'll be voting at the Greek Orthodox Church with Precinct 2. And right now 10 and 12 are together. They have always kind of been, off and on together, but they're together at the New Horseman Charter School out on Osterville, West Barnstable Road. And Precincts 9 and 13 are together up here in Town Hall. And not until January will we lump most of Hyannis at the rink. Right now, just Precinct 8 is there.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about going forward? This is number 3 in the whole election season. You have 2 more, possibly a 3rd. Could you tell us about what those future elections are?
Sure. December 8th, we're going to have a preliminary or a primary election for the senatorial seat that was vacated by Senator Kennedy. And that will be held December 8th. January 19th will be the final election. This will have the Democrat, the Republican, and any other party person that is running. And that will be the final. Hopefully that will end it for my election season. But we also have the possibility of having a special election for the recall of Precinct 13 counselor. And that is going to be set this Thursday, so I will know when it is. We don't know when that is at this point. And we have the Old Kings Highway election, which is the historic district election out in Precincts 1 and 11, and that will be held the end of November, I think on the 26th.
We want to thank Linda Hutchenreiter, our town clerk, for providing us with all that good information. Once again, a reminder to all our viewers that tomorrow, November 3rd, Tuesday, is Election Day here in the town of Barnstable, and there are many, many issues that are being dealt with tomorrow, so we urge you to go out and vote.
Yep, get out and vote. Now, we've changed locations for where we normally do our ins and outs here on Barnstable Today because there are another group of people that we want to thank, those those from AmeriCorps and the Growth Management Department. Now, Len Gobeil had an opportunity to speak with two of their representatives here at 725 Main Street for their cleanup at this location.
We're with Alicia Parker Stanley and Kevin Wade. Alicia is with the Town of Barnstable Growth Management Department, and Kevin, as you can see with his t-shirt and the insignia that he has on his t-shirt, is with AmeriCorps. We're standing here at 725 Main Street, and there's a whole bunch of people working, cleaning up 725 Main Street. Alicia, what's going on?
Well, this property, as you know, was acquired in 2001 with land bank funds. It was formerly a gas station. So over the past few years, Kate Kennan of Kennan Landscaping has created this idea to create a community garden, and with a community garden, kill two birds with one stone, be environmentally sound with planting some materials that actually thrive off of toxins that may be below ground. So with that, comes weeds and maintenance. So we're actually doing our annual maintenance cleanup today, and we've got 8 AmeriCorps members from the Bourne House who are helping us out. Kevin Wade is the IP individual placement member with me in growth management, and he actually put together a whole group project and brought the materials and the supplies.
Kevin, where are you from and why are you here?
Well, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I just graduated in May with a master's in architecture from Kansas State University. And I am here because after 5 years of architecture school, I was ready to get out of the studio and into the environment and actually do something.
Can you give us a little explanation as well as what Alicia said about why we're doing this?
Well, we're doing this basically because one of the things that AmeriCorps does is we sort of provide a large amount of volunteers where there aren't. And we can utilize our numbers, being that there's 14 people in our house. We were able to split into 2 groups today, bring 8 people out to help out the garden and clean it up, when otherwise I don't know how else we could get this done. We would have to do much more organizing and much more work, where we can just easily put it on the chalkboard and get in the cars and drive out here, grab our equipment and do it.
Alicia, I want to get back to you for a minute. You mentioned the fact that there may have been toxic materials here because this used to be a gas station. As people in the town of Barnstable drive by, they see a very beautiful sight here, and in the summertime the flowers are out, the trees are in bloom. But there's a more important aspect of this too. Explain that, if you would please, about how the ground cover takes up the toxic materials that might have been in the ground.
I'd be happy to. Like you said, over the summer it's very beautiful here. Witten Landscaping does the maintenance. Kate Kennan worked very closely with Witten Landscaping to determine which type of materials would best be suited here to thrive off these underground subsurface toxins. Reports from DEP show that this area wasn't that reportable, so we just wanted to take a step in the better direction, and if there was anything, that we would definitely want to try to suck those toxins up with these plants.
We'd like to thank AmeriCorps and the Growth Management Department for all their volunteers and work that they're doing here at 725 Main Street.
And now Kevin's going to have a look at this week's meetings.
Monday, November 2nd, there are no meetings. On Tuesday, November 3rd at 3:30, the press conference will take place in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Then at 6:30, the Conservation Commission has a meeting in the Selectmen's Conference Room. For Wednesday, November 4th at 7 o'clock, the Zoning Board of Appeals has a meeting in the Town Hall Hearing Room. Also at 7, the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission meets at 7 o'clock in the Selectmen's Conference Room. Then wrapping up the week on Thursday, November 5th at 7 o'clock, the Town Council has a meeting in the Town Hall Hearing Room. There are no meetings on Friday, November 6th. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Friel.
And I'm Len Gobeil.